Hey everybody, welcome back to Backlog Banter. I'm your boy Abram, joined as usual by Tucker Hazel, and we are here for what I would consider to be a very, very special video because we are here to do some predictions for the upcoming Pokemon Presents presentation. But before we do, if you want to talk to us about your predictions for the show or really anything else at all, be sure to join our Discord. While you're down there, like the video, subscribe to the channel, ring the bell, all the plugs you know what to do. And here's what I'm going to say. I don't like to threaten the audience, but I will if I have to.
True. Well, we know that.
If the Pokemon Presents ends up being bad, it'll be a direct result of you not subscribing.
Sure, yes.
And we will know because most of our views come from non-subs. So it's going to be a very small pool of people for us to ascribe blame to. And we'll blame all of you. Fuck it. So don't be part of the problem, be part of the solution.
Exactly.
Join the BLB experience. But Tucker, I was kind of stalling for time because I want to pull up the official tweet the Pokemon company put out. So we have,
sure, naturally.
Official
information.
We spent before we started recording probably 10-15 minutes talking about plushes like this shitty Oshawott backpack plush I have.
And this really high quality Pukamuku one that I have. Like, God, this thing's so great.
But we spent
Pukamuku, a great Pokemon. If you disagree, you deserve to be sent to France or something.
That was all the time I needed because it's time for me to get back to playing Animal Crossing New Leaf on my Nintendo 3DS. And it's time to read this tweet so we can get into our predictions. From Pokemon Company, verified account, attention trainers, tune into our YouTube channel on Wednesday, August 18th, 2021 at 6 a.m. PDT, 9 a.m. for me, 8 a.m. for you, for a Pokemon Presents video presentation featuring Pokemon Brilliant Diamond, Pokemon Shining Pearl, and Pokemon Legends Arceus. Now, that's what they say. You tell me that this is a 28-minute presentation.
I don't know the official source of that, but
right.
Everyone on my Twitter timeline has been discussing that this is by far, and I think this is the best reason, the largest reason we're doing this prediction video. This is the longest Pokemon Presents by a significant margin. Yeah. I believe the next one down is like 20 and a half minutes. And then on average, they're 10 to 15. So this is going to be a lot meatier and leading me to believe that not only are these two games that they're talking about going to be broken down in very significant ways. And I'm very excited for that because as we just did in one of our recent videos, we have gotten no information about either of them since their announcements, but also leads me to believe that, we're going to get some, maybe, let's just start the predictions here. I think would be awesome. A small, but interesting roadmap for new Pokemon Snap DLC. Yeah. If there's a larger pack that's not free, if we get one more free update, whatever, I'd like them to let us know that, because the problem with the DLC that's happening soon, or is it already out?
It's been out for about 11 days.
Okay. Is that we didn't see it coming. Right. They didn't reveal it in any way, any capacity beforehand. And they didn't promote it enough to where only like a couple people who played New Pokemon Snap even knew it existed. I knew it existed, but I honestly didn't know that it had come out because I didn't hear anyone talk about it.
Sure.
I would love for this game to get that second boost that you and I do think that it needs in terms of its content, and get a little larger focus to make sure that that content is obvious in terms of its reach and not cultural knowledge.
Yes. Thank you for saying all of that, because I agree completely. And I want to touch on that, but also gave me time to source that 28-minute long thing. Sarabi tweeted that it's 28 minutes long. And if Sarabi says it,
I genuinely trust Joe Merrick more than most people I know.
I agree completely. And with that sarcasm, if Joe Merrick says something about Pokemon, I completely agree it. And I didn't see it from any other sources, honestly, but Sarabi is Sarabi, right? Yeah. No, the Pokemon Snap DLC thing is interesting because by all accounts, it was actually a pretty good DLC drop. I get the Pokemon itch sometimes. It's probably my favorite gaming series, and it has been my entire life.
Locate that itch?
It's not on YouTube and fucking not in violation of terms of service. I can't. But I do want to hop into that DLC and try it. But I said from the very beginning, I would have liked a $20 DLC drop or something. Because I do think that Nintendo's DLC is best when it's a paid expansion. Your Octo expansions, your Tornas, your Kick It Back to Market, your Market 8 DLCs and everything. Yep. And Pokemon Company themselves put out the Isle of Armor and Frozen Tundra, which I think are so much better than the base Sword and Shield campaign. So yeah. I have to say, though, I am not expecting that because I think that first free update kind of telegraphed that that's what they're going to do. They can always go back on it. I mean, they in collaboration with Bandai Namco put DLC into the deluxe version of Pokémon Tournament, so anything is possible. But I don't see that being very likely.
Sure.
If anything, I do think that we're going to mainly see Brilliant Diamond, Shining Pearl, and I want to talk about that in a little bit more of a granular way. But if we see anything other than those games, because I think we will get a little bit with that much time, I think that if anything, we could see maybe a spin-off announcement.
That would be great.
I would really like that. I think the spin-offs recently have been really good. We're in the minority, of course, about new Pokemon Snap. We haven't tried Unite yet. I would like to try Unite. But I think Mystery Dungeon Rescue Team DX was really great. And of course, going back, Pokemon Tournament, all kinds of things. I don't know exactly what it would be. If you put a gun to my head, I would imagine it would be more of like of one of the mobile to Switch crossover titles, you know?
Sure.
I would love another Pokemon Trozai. They really fucked with me with Cafe Mix because they gave me they're like, it's Pokemon Trozai models, but it's like a fucking swirl them around in a blender type game, which doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, what a weird game.
But I think that if we do get a spinoff, it would be probably one of the smaller scale ones, considering, you know, they've put out a lot of bigger titles already.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing I could see is information on Detective Pikachu 2.
Right.
Unless they want to really sync that with the second movie.
That's been my assumption.
But that game has been in the ether for almost as long as the Switch has been around. So I would love some information on that. Not that I have any connection to the original game. I've never played it. I honestly don't know anyone who's played it. But for spinoffs that I would like, if we're just, you know, these aren't actual predictions, but just like, I'm a Pokemon fan. I played.
If we're gonna go off, I'll give one too. What's yours?
Well, it's got to be Pokepark. I love Pokepark too. Pokepark is phenomenal. I would say Ranger, but I think that's a very specifically DX thing that would be difficult to replicate anywhere else. So Pokepark, a big Pokepark game. Oh, HD videos. Oh man. Oh, that would bring me so much. That's childhood joy, like injected straight into my veins.
You make me want to try Pokepark 2 because I had Pokepark 1 when I was younger, and I remember thinking it was okay. But maybe what was it called? It wasn't called the Wonders
Beyond.
Yeah, the Wonder Years is a sitcom from the 80s. The Wonders Beyond. But that'd be interesting. Again, these are not official predictions. My official prediction, if anything, would be a smaller mobile and Switch crossover thing. But if we can go nuts with it,
because they'll just fart out one of those whenever they want. They're like, oh hey, Pokemon Cafe makes a Magikarp Jump. What the fuck was the blocky one?
Oh, Pokemon Quest. That game actually gets updated in China still. They're getting they're getting Johto DLC imminently. I saw that on Twitter, which is really weird.
And nowhere else.
No, because I don't think so. But Pokemon Conquest sequel. Fuck. I don't think that's gonna happen. But I am also a really big fan, even though I actually haven't played a lot of the games. I'm a big fan of Mystery Dungeon, Pokemon Mystery Dungeon.
Yeah, Mystery Dungeon would be awesome.
I would really love one, and they haven't been good in a while. I played Super for a little bit, and I thought it was okay, but the general consensus is that we got to go back to the Explorers games to get to a good one. But Blue Rescue Team is always my favorite, which is why my childhood joy thing was getting that DX remake, which was actually really good, I thought. But Tucker, what do you have any other predictions for stuff that would be external to BDSP and Arceus?
I mean, Unite is really the only thing we can say. I think it'd be interesting for them. I think it'd be interesting and logical for them to sort of have a small segment on it saying like, hey, it came out. This is like, they can do a whole stats thing like this. How many people have tried it? This is how many fucking points you've put in the deal or whatever. I see them sort of promoting this as, hey, a lot of people are doing this because I do think it is a pretty big deal as the first Nintendo MOBA. But some sort of DLC plan for that game. Maybe that's where we're going for that.
Empoleon or someone get a little synergy there,
I see,
because they introduced they just added Gardevoir, and I think the plan is to just kind of keep dropping heroes in quotes, which is how League and all those games do it. I think I don't really know how to play them, but I think if hey, we're here for the Sinnoh thing. They already have Garchomp, so how about here's Empoleon or whatever the fuck you want to add, and Fernape is probably what they would do.
Just give me Turtwig, not even Torterra. Just
give me Groddle.
Oh yeah. New hero, Groddle. Cricketune.
Sure. No, but no, I think
Wormadam.
I think you're right on the money there with a little nod to Pokemon Unite. But again, I think if we get anything that is not about the two Sinnoh games, it's going to be minor. So a mobile game or more stuff for Unite. And I say no Snap. I think you say Snap. Maybe we'll do a little bit of a grading in our post reaction discussion we do. But now let's get into the big boys, the things that are obviously the focus.
Yeah.
The two major Pokemon games releasing within 60 days of each other. Where do you want to take it first?
Releasing within, I think within 100 days is
of now. Yes, I think so.
Is BDSP, and then obviously, as you said, not very long after is Legends.
It's like 4.5 months until Legends.
That's so crazy, and especially because we know nothing about them, as we really harped on in one of our latest videos. But for me, the BDSP is the one that feels weird to me. It's because there is stuff they can talk about it, but it's not very clear what that can be. If this is a larger breakdown that does include a lot of stuff that I'm looking for in terms of things that take advantage of the fact that we have gone through 4 generations since Diamond and Pearl, that it's on new hardware, there's easier online and connection to Sword and Shield or whatever they want to do, that would be great. That's the ideal scenario.
Absolutely.
But I'm almost hesitant that that's going to happen because of how one-to-one that original trailer was. Of course, we know that the game has been updated in some strange capacity to the teasers that we've gotten. But I almost feel like they really do want to make this the simple one-to-one experience, and that the stuff that they add will be very minor. If it's, hey, the Underground or the Pastoria Great March.
Speaking of minor.
What?
Underground.
Yes, that's what I'm saying.
But you said minor, like, continue.
Okay, yes. If the mines or the Pastoria Great Marsh something have like slight updates or connect to online, like you can do like a little, competition of how many Pokemon you can catch in the Great Marsh, whatever. Something like that I think would make sense, but wouldn't be big enough for me to really be satisfied.
Yeah.
Because I do feel like the focus, strangely enough, will be on the next game, which is Legends Arceus.
Sure.
I think this is where we get the reason it's so long is because this game just requires a lot more explanation and in-depth analysis and breakdown of each of the different things and how the game will work and whatever. That will be the largest section of the direct.
Sure.
Yeah.
So I want to slow it down, and I want to go game by game because I have a lot to say about both. Mm-hmm. But my overarching thought to kind of parrot what you're saying in large part is that I'm not sure to what extent I'm expecting a full overhaul, but what I think is that we're going to basically get a complete re-reveal of these games.
Sure.
Whether
both of them.
Yes. Whether or not that means they're just going to be graphically and technically more impressive or there's more to it, I'm not sure, and I'll give my thoughts on it. But I think beyond a shadow of a doubt, we're basically going to get the February Pokemon Presents again. I think we will get brand new trailers for both. I think we'll get a little segment of talking about both. And then I think we will get gameplay, uninterrupted gameplay, even if it's just like a 4 or 5 minute thing without it's being talked over kind of in the introductory segment. Especially for Legends Arceus, I really expect and think that they need just uncut gameplay for that game. Mm-hmm. I think if BDSP is more straightforward, then you probably don't need to like, hey, here's what it's like to encounter a Pokemon.
Yeah, that would be so annoying.
But
a huge waste of time.
Because huge fucking waste of time. That would suck if the longest Pokemon presents just garbage, but I don't think it's going to be. What I expect from BDSP is more than we think, but not
good.
What I think we're going to get is what we get always, which is going to be whatever the horse shit gimmick of the hour is integrated into this game. So maybe we Dynamax, or maybe we're going to go back to Megas or something. Mm-hmm. But I think we're going to get an integration of that, and maybe that means we're going to get some different Pokemon forms. I think honestly, a nice way to update the region without having to do anything major would be add some Sinnohian forms.
Yeah,
I think that'd be interesting. And if Junichi Masuda is working in a production capacity, I'm sure we can get the resources to design some Pokemon for Ilka to integrate into the games.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
So I think we will get things that make these seem more impressive. Of course, I think obviously it's going to be technical and visual mainly, but I do expect that we're going to get, some things that bulk out Sinnoh, but I definitely don't think we're going to get expansions to Underground, Pastoria, Marshlands. I think that's wishful thinking. But the more superfluous, like edgewise elements, I think we're going to get.
Yeah. I think that honestly, the things that you're talking about in terms of adding whatever gimmick it is, or extra forms, or things that give this game its own flavor in terms of new content, that would honestly be better to me than updates to the sort of Sinnoh weird things like the underground stuff. Though I do think that maybe I think the underground does have to be overhauled in some way in terms of maybe way more people can be in it. Some mini games that are available down there or something. I think the way that they had that as the multiplayer focus of Gen 4 makes me think that they want to have that as a thing here. And because this is a newer game and online gaming is a lot more prevalent, and Nintendo Switch Online is not a great service, but better service than just fucking trying
That's what we have.
Whatever. Yeah. That they will give this some sort of multiplayer boost and update.
I meant to ask you about that because I'm having a crisis of confidence. In Gen 4, do you have to go to the upstairs of the Pokemon Center to do trading and battling?
Yes.
I think that's going to be gone. I think that has to be gone.
Well, we did see them enter that area in that trailer.
Did we?
Yes. The character like goes because you enter the portal on the floor behind the counter.
I forgot that. But in those games, the only way to get online was to go to the Pokemon Center, right?
Yes, or be underground.
Oh yeah. What I think is going to make sense, because you got to keep in mind, this is a weird.
Was there contest multiplayer? There must have been.
I think there was.
Yeah, there must have been.
A weird thing I loved about Gen 4 when I was a kid was my Poke Watch on the bottom screen.
Don't fuck that up.
It's funny because I actually just got a copy of Pearl, and I haven't played Gen 4 in acres of time. So I'm planning in the next couple months. I'm traveling to California in a couple weeks. I might bring my 3DS and play it on the planes to and fro. Because I want to have that touchstone of Gen 4 again before I go into BDSP. But I remember loving my Poketch so much. But obviously, you got one screen here. What I think is going to probably happen is that the Poketch will be overhauled, and in the Poketch is going to be just a more simplified menu for getting online, kind of what we ended up getting in Sword and Shield, of which, by the way, never fucking worked. So I hope it's better than the Sword and Shield online infrastructure.
So not YCOM, that was Gen 5. What the fuck was it? I don't know. It doesn't matter. They do a different fucking version of this every time, but I do think you're right that something I didn't consider is updates to the Poketch in terms of more applications, more things that allow you to connect to whether that's other games or Pokemon Home or other players. That would be a great way to just include something that does make it feel more modern. Especially because we have so many more buttons on the Switch now. You can just have it be like the ZR button brings up Poketch. Like whatever. I think that'd be great and makes sense.
I think it's essential. I really think that there's going to be the line they're going to have to straddle. I think when we learn what this game is in totality, is making a 1-to-1 remake that serve. Let's be generous to Ilka and say that we're on board with the idea of just making the game service nostalgia. Let's say that is the entire function. There's a difference between that services the game as it was, or the nostalgic view we have of it. If we end up having to go underground or to the Pokemon Center to go online, that is not servicing nostalgia. That is just tile for tile. And I don't think that this game in 2021 can be that.
Hopefully not, yeah.
So I do think that we're going to get overhauls to how you interface with people online. I think you're going to have to. And to that effect, I think they'll probably throw in wonder trading and all of these things that are more I think they call it surprise trading now in Sword and Shield. But I think they're going to throw in more things like that. I think the online is probably going to be the biggest addition to the game.
Yeah. I mean, the online also, I think, being incorporations of that underground, whether that's expanded or not. Contest battles, whether that's expanded or not, there are things that they can do there that aren't part of that core experience, but do contribute to it having a better presence in terms of its own identity, because those online functionalities, which are better than the DS ones in 2021, can be expanded. Contests can be expanded. I don't think I ever did a contest before, but who knows? Hopefully they put a little bit of work into that. Get a little bit of Poffin battles or something. Who knows?
I never had any friends to do them with. That's the sad truth of my childhood. I played Pokemon with myself for a lot of the time. And then I had some friends more in Gen 5. So a lot of this stuff kind of just like went past me. But actually what the fuck am I talking
about BDSP?
I,
Any
now,
final,
now,
final
now,
thoughts?
I'm now I'm trying to remember my own childhood because one of my best friends' name was Zach. We would play Pokemon like every day. I'm high on crack, I guess. But the point is, I never did contests with anybody. That's the point. So some of
Sure.
that
Yeah.
underground
Yeah.
stuff will be new to me. But no, I think I'm done with BDSP. Like I said, I think major technical graphical
Yep.
overhauls to online, and the introduction of more surface level Sinnohian. Got to have a better name than that, but Sinnohian forms, and maybe one of the like the battle gimmicks. That's what I expect to see.
Yeah. And that would be awesome. I do think back to Sword and Shield's two first trailers, which were both revealed in Pokemon Presents.
Yeah.
The second trailer for Sword and Shield was the one that really showed us what this game was. The first one was like, okay, this is a console Pokemon game, and it looks better and bigger because of that. But we didn't know there were Pokemon in the overworld. We didn't know about I don't really think we knew about Dynamaxing. We didn't really know about the other Pokemon. We didn't know about the wild area. So they really did introduce a lot in that second trailer. And hopefully for both of these games, we do get that second reveal that really shows us what the game is, as opposed to just the tease essentially that we got for both of them. Although those were full trailers, both of them had their issues. And I do think that, more development time and more information will make both these games seem more appealing to us, the hardcore Pokemon audience, which is why I think I'm most excited to see what they show for Pokemon Legends Arceus. The rumbles in the jungle have been, this game is entirely different from anything we've experienced before. A real-time battle system where you command your Pokemon, they're just in the environments. All of these things are so different from past Pokemon games that I think they warrant a little bit of breakdown in terms of, this is what it's like to encounter Pokemon. This is like to send out Pokemon. This is what it's like to throw a Pokeball at a Pokemon. This is why you're going out and exploring, who you're talking to. All these things I think are important to showing what this game is in terms of it being different from past Pokemon games.
Yeah, I believe the rumor was an ATB system like Final Fantasy VII-esque. So not truly real time.
Sure, but
and also
significantly realer time.
Right. The reason I say that though is because also I think that was broken by Centro Pokemon leagues, who have a not good track record at all.
Okay.
So the reason I say that is because we were both down. I was up on it. You were down on it. You brought me down because I think that there is a ton of reason to be skeptical about the game based on the initial trailer. And I think I was probably grabbing onto those leaks a little bit more than they might have warranted.
Sure.
What I'm expecting out of Arceus, frankly, is the same Pokemon experience on a mechanical level.
Sure.
Obviously, we know that catching Pokemon is different and contextual in the overworld. What I really want to see out of that is, how is that more complex than just walk up in the grass and throw the ball?
Yep.
That's what I really want to learn about. Like, maybe you have to distract Pokemon. Maybe you got to leave out bait for them so they're eating and they don't see you coming and you throw Pokemon. I think there's a lot of really clever ideas there. Because then, Tucker, you gotta be out in the field and you have to observe their behavior and figure out what to do.
Don't give me hope. Honestly, don't give me hope.
Sure.
I that first trailer was great from quite a few different perspectives, but my dream Pokemon game where Pokemon are in the overworld and you have to like do some environmental thing to like get them to do what they want, so you can distract them, so you can throw a Pokemon. I don't want to get my hopes up, and I think that applies to both of these games. I'm setting my expectations very low, so hopefully I'm very surprised. Obviously, Pokemon Company knows a lot more than we do, and I'm sure there is something that we're not even touching on here that is going to be the main focus of what these games are. So, but you're spitballing, and I love where you're at, but don't do it. Don't give me hope.
I think the thing is, though, that this idea invites that kind of speculation because it is an approach to Pokemon that seems to put the battling component on the back burner. All we know about beyond the trailer is that the conceit is you're building the first Pokedex, which is a really awesome idea, especially for someone like me who has the most fun with Pokemon in the post game when I am shiny hunting or I am completing my Pokedex and I'm trying to catch these guys and learn about them and breed them and all kinds of things. That's where I have the most fun. So this game conceptually speaks to me. So what I really want to see is that they complicate that formula a little bit more than just throw the ball. That's what I think we're going to see. For me to be on board, all I need to see are the Pokemon running at amicable frame rates and the worlds to not look terribly barren as they did.
Yes.
If we can do that, then I'm going to at least be compelled by the idea. And I think we will see those things.
I agree. And I think for me, the thing on top of that is that I want this to be very clear that there is more than just one town in the thing for like I want there to be incentives for exploring the entire ancient Sinnoh continent, whether that's discovering ruins of Regigigas or other legendaries, whatever, or finding other small settlements off in the distance, finding Pokemon in certain areas that are a lot rarer. I want there to be more than what that initial trailer said, which is there was a town with the hustle and bustle of people. If that's what it is, and you're just going out from one central location, I think that's gonna be very underwhelming. Maybe we're really spitballing. We're fucking hoping for dreams here. Establishing towns, watching them grow over time.
Yes.
Being able to plan routes that connect the cities, something like that. That's not going to happen. That's not going to happen.
Imagine for a second you arrive at where Orberg is, and there's the first people starting to dig the mine, and you have to help them build out the settlement.
Yes.
Maybe you have to go catch them like gravelers who can come and help them dig.
Yeah.
Imagine side quests like that.
Oh my God.
Wouldn't how fucking Tucker, the thing about this is there is a practical reality where Pokemon Legends Arceus is great, and it is my favorite game of all time.
Oh God, don't do it. Don't give me hope. Oh my God.
But the other thing that I'm not sure if it would compel you as much, but I would really like it to kind of, because obviously this game draws from Breath of the Wild, obviously, is if there is one central town, so you're going out into nature with Pokemon, and you have to like set up camps. It's a big expedition.
Establishing thing. Exactly.
Or even if it's not building Sinnoh as you know it, like you're gonna go hike up. What's the big mountain called? I forget. Mount Coronet. So you gotta set up like a little camp, and maybe you have because I think Cyndaquil is one of the starters. Maybe your Cyndaquil lights a little fire for you, and you guys wait there, and you can journal. Or what if there's like a Pokemon Snap component to this? So maybe it's not about the other people, but it's about your personal connection to the wildlife and the Pokemon.
Sure. Yeah.
I think that there are divergent ways where you can take the idea of the world, where they're both compelling for different reasons.
Sure.
So my prediction is that we're going to, or it's more of a hope, I guess, but I just want to see one of these. And I don't care if it's my idea or not. I just want to see a reason. I want to see a reason for this game to exist beyond just let's go out and throw balls at Pokemon.
Of course. Yes. So, I want there to be incentives for exploration, whether that is, as I said, finding like ruins or stuff. Because Sinnoh also has such a crazy history in terms of the lore and its characters and the locations each have each of their histories and stuff. And all, of course, all the legendaries. I want them to incorporate that in some interesting way. And also, I think it'd be really interesting to see incorporations of, if there are Sinnohan forms in BDSP, have those in Legends Arceus. Have there be, maybe some other Pokemon that were there that went extinct after some period of time. I want this to just not be that Sinnoh Pokedex, which we all know is very flawed. I want it to be somewhat expanded or recontextualized to be like, hey, this is 500 years in the past, whatever.
I mean, let's we could bring up a little biology for a moment. Think about like the ways that animals migrated over time. This was 500 years before everybody left. And we already know that there's a Rowlet and a Cyndaquil. And we've only seen like 6 or 7 Pokemon that this game has to offer. So what if there are Pokemon from every region? And this is such a rural place that this is before they've gone and migrated outwards, I think that's so interesting.
I think there really should be an interesting history there of, okay, who are these people that are establishing this place? Which, by the way, I'm going to assume is Heart Home City. Just from the name, that makes a lot of sense for this to be the original thing. Also the biggest town in Gen 4. Who are these people? What regions are they from? Why did they come here? Like, I want there to be a good, solid, at least base story for this. There doesn't need to be any sort of crazy evil team or, saving the world or whatever, which, there probably will be. But I want there to at least be a lore here that connects it to other regions. Like, okay, why this person, clearly the professor, visited Unova, Johto and Alola. Okay, so what's their history? Who's this character? There's got to be something more to this.
What I think, and this is a stone cold prediction from your boy Abram Buhner.
Okay, all right.
The evil team in quotes is going to be Arceus, and it's going to be the retelling of the Pokemon creation story. The way Arceus built the world. So I think that you're probably going to be. I think this game is going to be very naturalized, and I think that the crux of the story is going to be trying to exist maybe in a world where Arceus is still forming everything,
Hmm.
because there's all that shit about like the fucking plates and Arceus made the Pokemon in his image or whatever, right? And I don't think you would call it Legends Arceus and then ignore that again, talking about the rich lore of Sinnoh that's
The
there.
history of Arceus. Yeah.
And if there are people there, which we know that there are going to be some, I don't necessarily think that they are going to be anything other than the professor types, wherein you're going to help them, or if there is establishment of bases or whatever. Basically, I think there's going to be passive NPCs or scientifically inquisitive NPCs. I don't think there's going to be rivals. I don't think there's going to be an enemy team. I think it's going to be people who are establishing a world, and then the narrative force for good or bad or for neutral is going to be Arceus and
Sure.
tying back into what was established in the Gen 4 games, really Platinum in large
Yeah.
part.
Yeah. Also, the initial discovery of the distortion world. I mean, come on. I mean, discovering Spear Pillar and it's all like it's not ruined yet, and it's like
Yes.
still perfect. You gotta find Heatran in that
Yeah.
cave. You gotta visit Regigigas by Snow Point City, which is like 3 people sitting on a fucking campfire.
I'm glad you said that actually, because I want to talk back about BDSP for a second. Silver, this is a $64,000 question. Is a distortion world going to be in these games?
Yes.
You think so?
Yes. I think it has to be.
Yes.
Both of them? Yes.
Yes.
Yes. I think there's got to be some sort of version of it. I think, it's going to be some weird simplified version in BDSP, but I do think that like having this more open-ended distortion world thing, that maybe that's the fast travel system, is you can enter like sort of link between world style, enter the distortion world and pop out in other locations once you've like opened the rifts or whatever. I think that would be a great way to implement it.
Because remind me, because I never had Diamond or Pearl growing up, I only had Platinum. The distortion world was introduced in Platinum, right?
I believe so. I only remember it in Platinum, but I can double check.
Because the way I'm thinking about it is you got to have that in these games. If you want to talk about building out the Gen 4 experience, you got to have the distortion world and Giratina in that plot line.
Yeah.
Because ultimately, the fact of the matter is people's Gen 4 nostalgia is Platinum nostalgia, right?
Yeah.
It's not necessarily Diamond and Pearl nostalgia. It is for a lot of people,
True.
but what the connotation of what Gen 4 has become is that Diamond and Pearl are deeply flawed games, and Platinum is the one that cleaned it up and made it arguably the pinnacle of the series.
Mm-hmm.
So my prediction, another stone cold Abram Bina prediction, is that there will be the distortion world integrated into the story. So I think the stories are going to be a lot closer to Platinum than they were to just Diamond and Pearl.
Yeah, I think the coolest thing we're thinking about all of this is, even if there's not established towns, not if you're going to see like fucking proto Sunny Shore City or whatever, there is so much history to Sinnoh where you can visit. There's like fucking 20 different legendaries in this dumb fucking game.
Yeah.
You can visit all these locations that have stories tied to them, because we know that these Pokemon and their locations are established places in the world. Giratina has a distortion world. Cresselia has an island. Shaman has an island. Darkrai has an island. Fion and Manaphy are out there somewhere. There's 3 different lakes you visit with the fucking lake spirits. There's Heatran and Regigigas, and there's such a history to each of these legendaries that there's already 10 plus locations that are going to be interesting that we know have to be there because they're ancient locations.
Yes. Now, Tucker, I don't have a lot left to say, frankly.
No, that's fine.
What I want to talk about that combat for a second. I want to pose to you a $64,000 question. The combat of Arceus Legend, as it's referred to, I believe. Is it going to be active time? I don't care if you have a direct prediction. Basically, do you think the combat is going to be stock standard turn-based Pokemon combat or no? If you want to think about it for a second, does yes mean it's going to be standard?
I think so. I think
that's my opinion also.
Are a little too hopeful.
Yeah.
And I was leaning a little too heavily into them initially. It just seems too ambitious for the Pokemon Company to do something that is so different already from a gameplay format, a world format, and also do that gameplay twist. The only caveat being this is Legends, which means it's not something that they have to necessarily focus on in terms of this is going to be the future of the Pokemon series. It can be an experimental one-off thing. So I think there might be some, but I don't. This is honestly the thing that I'm setting my expectations low. So if it is that and those leaks were correct, we're like, holy shit, yes.
My opinion is that it's going to be traditional turn-based battles
Yeah.
because I think they're going to want that touchstone throughout the entire series. And I think
Yeah.
it's important to remember that Pokemon is designed with an all ages appeal in mind. And those ATB RPGs are accessible. I mean, Final Fantasy VII was a lot of people's first JRPG, and that's ATB based. But I think that they are going to want to keep it simple. And I think that if you're going to maintain RPG combat, well, then the simplest form of that is turn-based battles, and turn-based battles are what Pokemon's cut its teeth on since Red and Blue, or Red and Green, if you want to get technical with me. But so I think it's going to be the same, and I don't necessarily think that really matters. A, because I like Pokemon's combat, but B, because I don't think it's going to be foregrounded at all. Frankly, one of my biggest questions is why am I even battling anybody? That's one thing I'm curious to find out.
Yeah, so. I mean, the only thing you can think there is that, you know, there are higher level Pokemon in the farther away areas, and you want to be able to battle them so you can catch them.
Great point.
Yeah.
Great point. Tucker, do you have any other predictions you want to share?
Release date changes for either of them, maybe for Arceus.
I said in the last video that they're both going to get delayed. I believe that's what I said. And I now, a couple days later, I'm going to stick by an Arceus delay.
Yeah.
But I'm going to say that BDSP doesn't move. The more I think about it, I think that that's not going to move.
No, yeah, I think that makes sense, and I'm okay with that because BDSP is the one that I think is less important, and I'd rather them push that out and it be mediocre, but at least have Arceus to look forward to. Ideally, they'd both be great, but the Pokemon community doesn't really worry about that a lot.
Yeah. My last prediction is that the stream is not going to crash this time.
Oh God. That was so weird.
I think they learned their lesson, and I'm pretty sure they're going to make sure that there's nothing wrong technically with this one.
Yeah.
I'm genuinely incredibly excited.
I'm getting chills, but mostly from hope. I really want to be surprised. I think that's all I can say is I really want to be surprised by both these games.
Yes. I want to leave it on one final note. And I'm hopefully not going to have to bring it up in the post-reveal discussion.
Yeah.
But you are well within your right to be skeptical of these games. I am already seeing on Twitter people saying and retweeting and joking about, oh, another Pokemon presentation so the fan base can bitch about it. It's like the Pokemon is not only an incredibly personal, sentimental series to a lot of people, it is the biggest media franchise. Yeah. You have every right, and I think as a fan, every responsibility to hold them accountable to that legacy.
Yeah.
So that's where I want to leave it. Speculate, predict, and have an expectation that the Pokemon Company delivers you a product that is commensurate to what everybody around them is giving you.
Yeah.
So, we'll see.
And with that, we will be reacting and discussing Wednesday morning, bright and fucking early, to whatever this goddamn thing is. And I'm honestly, this at Nintendo's E3, I think is probably my most anticipated event of the year, gaming event of the year. Yeah. Well,
it kind of was the first Pokemon Presents for me, but we know how that went. So now with this context in mind, it's got to be this one. We'll see. We'll talk to you soon. Share your predictions in the comments if you want, or put them in the Discord so we can have a little bit more back and forth. And we will catch you very quickly. I don't want to put an exact day on it because we're recording this probably when it's not going to go live. So at an indiscriminate point in the future, we'll catch you real soon to talk about some Pokemon.